Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your closing bell for February 28th, 2022, the last day of February. Tomorrow, March 1st, uh, will be a lot to talk about, obviously, tomorrow morning. As we are 4:35 p.m. East Coast time, so technically 7 hours and 25 minutes till D-Day for MLB. And without me going on a rant to start this show, because I want to make this about today's lines, I don't think we need to go on a 45-minute to an hour rant. But I'm going to bring my co-host in so I can start the rant, and then he can keep me off the ledge in the balcony, and then we will go from there. So without further ado, the man from the Palm Tree State himself, the one and only Mr. Scott E. Webb. Good afternoon, Scott.
Hey Jeff, how are you today, man? It's been an interesting day so far, I suppose.
I'm just going to cut to the chase. We've held out hope. We've been in the minority here about believing that there would be some kind of resolution on today. This was the day we thought, and it's kind of comical. I talked to you about 94 and the players mooning the owners on August 11th, and they made sure that didn't happen again with the lockout. There'll be some people out there that says, hey, if they're close enough, why don't they let the players get to spring training? Why don't they start the games and negotiate on good faith, wink, wink, and we'll resolve this issue. I've talked about shortening schedules. The under-over 2.5 months ago was 152 games, I think it was. And now you're hearing that, we're just going to close shop for the first month. So then May 1st becomes the next day. And then usually this is how my mind works. Well, you get to May 1st, then it goes to Memorial Day. And next thing you know, you're talking the All-Star break and a half season. And we do know that this game, I don't want to say it's on life support, because if you love baseball, you love everything about it, the length, the pace, the players. We just don't care about the nonsense. I could give a rat's ass how much a team's making, how much a team's losing, or how much this guy's making. I don't care. I just want to see the product on the field. So the fact of the matter is that you got millionaires versus billionaires, and I want this, I want that, and they want this. And enough's enough here. So if you think by pulling the plug and canceling for a first month, they don't even care about the fans. They don't care about the fantasy players. Listen, I'm going out the 15th. The following week, there's hundreds of people coming up to the Bellagio to draft live fantasy baseball. It's not $10, $20, $50 a team. Some of these teams are 5, 10, 15, 20,000 a team. This is high stakes. They don't care. They could give a rat's ass. So as you can tell, I'm fed up. We still got 7.5 hours. It's bleak. I spoke my piece.
Well, it's always good to get stuff off your chest. I kind of like that. Hello, Billy. Anyway, okay. So a couple of things have been going on here today, and first thing is the reports come out that MLB said, what they said about, they don't care about the first month of games and they'll cancel the game. So I guess the goal of that was to threaten the players to say, hey, we need to make a deal today and get them to move. And then the players come back with, well, we've got this site. It's in Arizona, and we've already got a stadium. We've leased it out for a month, and we can train there. So we're going to train. We're going to be ready to go when it's time to go. So they're saying, okay, well, if you're going to cancel the games, well, it's okay, so be it. We got a place to go play. And then the other thing that was interesting that happened today was Derek Jeter's resignation and the purpose for what he is now assumed to have resigned for. And there's some looking into this that says that he signed on based on the idea that he was going to restructure this team with the goal that they were going to spend at some point to get the team back to a very competitive standpoint. And he feels like they're at the point now where if they spend some money, they're going to be pretty good, which I probably agree with that. Having said that, he's like, okay, well, based on these labor negotiations and based on what's going on and with the ownership that we have, they're not going to spend any money. So I'm not going to do this shit no more. So he resigned today. So baseball's in a conundrum when it comes to those kinds of things. And it's like I told you before, I think, baseball owners, it's great for them to win because they get their name on TV and stuff like that, but they could care less about all that stuff. They want to, and for a lot of them, they don't even hire baseball guys to run the damn team. It's a tax write-off for these guys, most of them, because they make so damn much money that they can buy a baseball team, and then it grows in profitability. But as what they're really doing is using it to write off the expenses or taxes or whatever that they got to pay on the other place, on their main purpose of why they're in why they got the money in the first place. So, it's I guess the best analogy for all of this is that it's a washing machine. You bounce around and you spin around and you're chugging back and you're chugging back and you're chugging back and then you get put in the damn dryer and and you don't know when it's going to stop, and when it stops you don't know what it's going to look like when you're done. Did the shit shrink? Did the stuff change colors? Was it a bad, all of that stuff? And we don't know. I don't know. I do believe Derek Jeter did what Derek Jeter did for that reason. I do believe that you have these negotiations that go on that are somewhat in good faith and somewhat in threatened modes. But I think that time is over. Nobody. I think that if you're at a point where you're trying to bully somebody by the threats that you're making, it's too late. This should be about communication and working together collectively to come to an agreement, not about, well, if this happens, if that happens, okay, well, they already know all that shit. That's not going to scare them today. And it's probably not going to scare them, for the future. These guys make so damn much money playing the game. Not all of them, but some of the guys that, the guys in that damn room are the guys that are the multimillionaires of baseball. So, you can say what you want, but those guys don't care either. That they're just going to play it back that, okay, the ownership doesn't care. I just gotta make sure that we say it clearly and responsibly. Both sides are at fault, not one or the other. And the players can say all they want to about the ownership being okay, whatever. Look, you're players. It is what it is. Yes, they need you to be the game. But at the same time that they need you to be the game, it's a business and they'll pay you what they can pay you. They'll pay you what they want to pay you. And you can fight for whatever you want to fight for. But at some point, you're going to have to agree to play or don't play. And if you don't play, that's on you, not on the ownership.
I follow, I don't want to say good friends, but well-respected. I throw him out some curveballs and he'll reply. Craig Mish, who follows the Marlins. And it was reported right before the lockout that the Marlins were real close in signing Castellanos, or that was the guy that they were eyeing. And we've talked about the Marlins' good young core. The problem with the Marlins is they're going to load the bases with no outs and they're not going to score. And it happens because I know it happens because I've had them a million times. One of the best young arms in the game with Alcantara. So you bring in, as Jeet said, I think we're to that point now, guys. If we start to spend some money, put the right pieces in place, we're here. And I tend to agree with him. Now, I think following Craig Mish, I think this wouldn't be the year. I think they're really eyeing the following year. So maybe Jeet's got a little ahead of himself and saying, hey, guys, this is the year, and got a little impatient. Now with the labor talks dragging, obviously, Derek's all set, Mr. Jeter. He won't miss anything. I don't know where he's going from here or whatever, but kind of not surprising, I guess, because we don't know all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. But kind of sort of that was just my take on the Marlins, Scotty.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've got a pitching staff that can pitch with anybody. I mean, really, they do. You can put them out there and they can pitch. You got a guy that didn't even play last year because he was hurt in Sixto Sanchez that can pitch. The left-handed kid, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he pitched really, really well last year. I can look him up real quick, but it's one of those spots where you're talking about 3, if not 4 guys on this staff. Where's the Marlins? They're there. If you really think about them, they got Trevor Rogers was his name. Mm-hmm. So Trevor Rogers is really good. I mean, that kid was phenomenal last year. He had a 2.6.4 ERA in 25 games for the Marlins, for God's sakes. And Sandy Alcantara, 3.19 earned run average, and Pablo Lopez, nobody really knows that guy, but he's really good too, 3.07 earned run average. Those 3 guys, and then add Sixto Sanchez to that. And if they can fix Jesus Luzardo, for God's sakes, that guy is unbelievable stuff. They're going to be really good. They just need some offense. I mean, they if you're counting on Abisail Garcia and Jesus Aguilar as your best guys on offense, you're in trouble. I do like Chaz Chisholm. Chaz Chisholm's really a good player. But they need other. Well, they don't need other. They need a lot on offense. But on that mound, boy, they can pitch. So I think that Jeter's right. I mean, in a sense that you got to spend a little bit of money. You're not spending that much money to have these guys up there. So bring in some hitters and do something with them, and I think they'll be pretty good.
No, I agree. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be pretty disappointing, I guess. I don't want to say I'll sleepless night in Boston, because I assume at midnight, we'll have a lot more answers. And I just think, the fact that they lock them out December 1st, and it took them 6 weeks to initially get to the table, where they just blew, those 6 weeks. And now they think that, they were just going to click their heels and everyone's going to resolve everything. It's a give and take. And listening to the locals today, and it was kind of said, and you kind of little hinted towards it too, Scotty, the players have too much power. They have too much power. You are 100% correct. It is a business. Yes, the owners need you guys to play. But the fact of the matter is whenever anything potentially gets done or wants to get done to change the game, it has to go through the union. They have too much say in the matter. Okay. If you work for a corporation, okay, you are Jeff Dawson, number 10123. Okay. If I have all these fabulous ideas, I just forward them in an email and it goes to corporate and it just gets left unnoticed. The squeaky wheel gets the grease or the oil. Well, I use the word diva, and I think all these professional athletes, for the most part, are all divas. They are gifted something that none of us have, that 99.9% of the world, whether it's in baseball, basketball, whether it's swimming, I don't care. You have a gift and you are paid handsomely. And I know you guys have to work at it. I get that part of it. But in your prime, whether it's 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, you are setting your family up, your kids' families up, and their families up. It just, unless you just piss away the money like some of these professional athletes have done. And it's just sad. It's sad. I hear so much talk. I don't care who needs baseball, the hell with them. And that's just what it is. Who cares? I don't watch them anyways. I'm not going to watch. A 60-year-old came on today. Yeah, I'm that guy, he said. I'm the guy that falls asleep in the lazy chair after a couple Bud Lights, and I fall asleep to NESN watching the Red Sox. Well, the hell with them. I don't need them anymore.
Well, let's just say this. I've been in the locker rooms. I've been around the players. I've made friends with the players. I know the players. And I'm just going to tell you this. 90% of those guys are awesome guys. They're great guys. Obviously 10% of them stick out and they do crimes and they're just selfish and they're just me people. A lot of those guys got to where they are because of hard work, number one, but number two, certainly being talented. But number three, that they got help along the way. I will tell you that what has eroded the relationship is not the players and the owners. It really isn't. It's the goddamn agents. The agents have created monsters, and the agents' representation of the players are in diva-like status. And then the players respond on Twitter in ways and means that kind of make them look like they're trying to pin the owners down and this, that, and the other stuff. And it kind of makes them look like divas. But if you go walk right up to those guys and say, hey, look, I need X, Y, and Z from you. Can you do, stop by the store and do a weekend thing and do some autographs for me or something? Dude, you know how many times they said yes to me? I mean, it is not something that is out of their realm of scope of trying to be part of the community and also try to help you, because you're going to help them. And whatever they can do to make your life better, they're going to try, except for those certain few. And I say that because I don't want players to get a bad reputation as far as what their personalities seem like. Some guys are real assholes, man. I'm telling you, some of those guys are just not guys you want to be around. Others aren't. And the majority, if not the vast majority, are good guys, especially in baseball. I don't know what it's like in football. I don't know what it's like in soccer or basketball or any of that other stuff. I have no idea, because I've never been around that in terms of the professional athletes and know who they are and what they ask for and what they want and who they buddy with and how they take care of things. I have in baseball, and I've done it a lot in baseball. So from a lot of different levels and a lot of different perspectives. So I will say this, that baseball players in general are pretty good guys. I think that they a lot of times put their faith into their agents in a lot of ways, and those agents also represent them in business deals and other things outside of the game. There's just a lot of things that happen. I think agents are really bad for baseball right now.
All right. We did 19 minutes. Apologies, everyone that stuck around and listened. Thank you. We'll get to the actual real reason for the show, the closing bell. It's Monday, the last day of February, as we try to finish strong. Scotty, 7 games on the board in NBA. Anything jumping up?
Well, I played 2 games today, Jeff. I played. I didn't play that Indiana game that I thought. Numbers wise, everything I have says to play Indiana today plus the points. But if you look at how it's being bet, 69% of the money, 81% of the tickets bet on Indiana, yet the line's moving in the other way. So I'm like, there is no way I'm going to go take Indiana today, even though my numbers tell me to do that. But I am going to take the Brooklyn Nets today. I'm taking Brooklyn +4 against Toronto. That line, where is that game? There it is. That line opened at Toronto -2.5. It's up to 4 now. Looking at the numbers on the game, Toronto is 87% of the money, 69% of the bets. So they're getting all the action. So I even like that even better. Toronto, Jeff, is the number 30th team in all of basketball. So that's dead last in the last 2 weeks against the spread. They have missed covering spreads by, let's see, where are they? Toronto by 19 points against the spread. So they are the 28th team on defense, and they are the 30th team on offense. And now you're going to go tell me they're going to be road favorites. So I'll take the underdog here. I'll take the home dog in Brooklyn. I like that one. And the other one that I took, it's kind of a let's see what happens game. I'm taking Charlotte +10.5. The number I think started at 10. It's at 10.5. I'm taking the Charlotte Hornets plus the 10.5. And again, this is one of those spots where Charlotte spread differential rise over the last 2 weeks is ranked number 8th. Milwaukee is 29th. So these another one of these that they can't cover spreads very well because they're getting big margins and they're not covering them is what's going on. And the truth of the matter is, if you pull them up by offense right now, click them again. So I get them in the right order. That's not the right order. There we go. Milwaukee is sitting at 11th in offense, and they're normally one of the teams in the top 5 in offense, and they're 27th on defense. And they've only played Milwaukee. Milwaukee has played, let's go up one. Milwaukee has played the 18th toughest schedule. So that means it's been the middle of the pack. And that's the results they're showing. So they're in one of those little skids. So I'm going to take the Charlotte Hornets in a spot where they are right now. They are, I think, the 3rd. Was that what it was? Yeah, they are number 3 on defense in the last 2 weeks. So I'm going to take them to hold within the 10.5 points. And those are the 2 plays I made.
In the college ranks, short board, a couple intriguing games that have caught our eye here. Rotation number 861, 862, 7 o'clock, Syracuse at North Carolina. Syracuse hosted Duke over the weekend and got absolutely steamrolled. And then Carolina on the road steamrolls NC State. Here's what I am going to tell you guys. The line opened at 7. It was there to attract Syracuse money. I'm sorry, North Carolina money. It has done that. It's at 8.5. If you hold out until probably closer to tip-off, you might even get 9. I think Carolina wins, but I think Syracuse covers the plus 8.5 or 9. Rotation number 867, 868, San Diego State at Wyoming. San Diego State is banged up. They are like grabbing fans out of the stands to suit up a full team. And this Wyoming team just is getting zero respect all year. Yet San Diego State opened up at 1.5. My eyes don't deceive me here, guys. I think San Diego State is the play. I would not play the 1.5. I take the money line at around minus 123, 124. 873, 874. Again, Baylor in Texas. Baylor just moved up 3 or 4, 5 spots. They are not the Baylor Bears of last year, but they are damn good. Yet they come into Texas 1-point favorites, now 1.5-point favorites. Both teams won over the weekend. I like Texas in the spot, but when they were put in this spot, their last tough spot here was against Texas Tech. We had Texas, and they played grab ass, and they lost outright. So I think, honestly, Vegas is making a stance here, and with the Baylor -1, it's got to 1.5. Be interested, Scott, to hear your numbers on pregame.
On the Baylor game?
Yes, please.
Yeah, that is the number 1 bet college basketball game, tied with Syracuse. $126,000 bet on the game. 51% of the money is on Texas. 58% of the tickets on Baylor.
It's a tough one. Like I said, you don't have to go here. I lean Texas, but if reading the numbers, I guess Baylor money line is where – I don't want to say it's a public play because it's basically split down the middle on both sides. But it kind of – I was talking to our buddy Billy earlier today. Okay, San Diego State game is the one that really was an eye-opener to me. That one last night and this morning, my eyes are attracted to that. I would respect Wyoming as a 2, 2.5, 3-point favorite, yet San Diego State's the favorite. That's why my best play of the day would be San Diego State tonight, money line. But my eyes aren't saying the same thing with Texas. So I said, one's going to win outright, one will get blown out. So I'm not saying to run to the window and back Texas. I just, again, think Baylor as a favorite. Vegas is making a stance there. So I'm not trying to play both sides of the fence here on that one. The rest of the games, nothing really jumps out to us. Let's tiptoe to hockey. Vancouver and the Devils. The Devils open up -125, now 124. I'm showing 52% of the bets on Vancouver, yet 62% of the money on the Devils. Devils Thursday, huge win at Pittsburgh. We come back with them Friday, and they gave up a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to the Blackhawks, and we lose 8-5 there. Now as a favorite, Vancouver coming off a very impressive 5-2 win against the Rangers last night. I'm going to stay away there. The eye opener here is Toronto and Washington. Washington opens up -110. Toronto now -129. For us, again, the best play in hockey today would be the Leafs. I respect the overnight move. Leafs -129 at Washington. And the last game, the Bruins head to LA. Bruins opened up 120, now minus 119. 60% of the bets, 59% of the money, Scotty, on the Bruins.
Yeah, this shows 51% of the money and 59% of the tickets on Boston. But $36,000 bet on the game.
I think if my memory serves me correct, Kings coming home from a road trip. Bruins have won 4 in a row. Hard to trust the Bruins as a road favorite. I'd be very lenient there. So I guess if you had to pin me in the corner, Scott, my 2 best plays tonight would be San Diego State money line and the Leafs money line.
Well, let me answer Billy's question here for a second. He's asking me about the Chicago Bulls game down there. My opinion on the Bulls today is that all my numbers tell me they've been playing better in the last 5 games, and in the last 14 games, I've got them as covering this number, actually winning the game outright. But I put a lot of weight into home and away numbers, and based on the home and away numbers, and then kind of meld everything together, my final number comes out as Miami minus 1.5 tonight, and they're minus 4.5. So I still think that Chicago is the right play, Billy. I think that it's there. They can have that. My feeling is that I have certain teams that don't fit these molds real well. Miami's one of those kind of teams that if they play a big offensive team, they don't get enough credit for what they do. And the team that plays offense gets too much credit. So I kind of try to work that into the formula as I build it down. So I think the number's probably reasonably close, but if I was going to take it, I would just tell you this. If I was going to play any games at all tonight, I would bet every single one of the dogs, every single one of them. I would never play any favorite tonight. And in this particular game, it's on my list. I just scratched it off as I thought there was a couple other ones better. So, Billy, that was my thoughts on the Bills.
All right, we get to that time of the day for Scotty's words of wisdom.
Yeah, I thought today would be a good day, and it's one of these situations that Jeff and I talk about, and it comes up in rants every once in a while, and it's just one of these things that I think is important to really kind of fine tune and hone. We're human beings, and some new stuff has been coming our way, and there's a thing called cancel culture, and then there's piling on, right? So I wanted to talk about that a little bit, because cancel culture, what it is, it's the same thing as call out culture, right? It's somebody being ostracized either online, social media, in person, or whatever. And usually these people are being called out by someone who is not face to face with them, and they're hiding behind, a mouse and a keypad, or a mouse and a board, or a monitor, whatever you want to call it. And it's one of these scenarios where when you're being called out like that, and it's in a cancel culture, it's kind of a tough thing, because you're damned if you react to it, and you're damned if you don't. But I'm going to give you an idea here in a minute. And the other one is piling on, right? So some of these guys, and this I got today watching some of these media guys talk about the baseball thing, and the specific thing is. Well, let's just define it first. So it's criticizing, usually in an unfair way, and usually after someone has already given a negative review already. So somebody's jumping in and doing another one, like same thing, another review of it, right? So here's a perfect example of that. Everybody on Twitter and all these Major League Baseball media guys are telling you to go out there and cancel your MLB renewal subscriptions today. It's the last day to go cancel all that stuff. Well, just check your email, guys. MLB TV sent you a thing today that says, look, you don't have to cancel it. We're not billing you nothing. We're not charging you anything. We're not going to do anything until the CBA has been taken care of, and we know if we're going to play and when we're going to play, and then we'll come back to you and tell you what's going to happen. So all this piling on and all this cancel culture, all it does is create negativity, create pessimism, and then the person that has the cancel culture attack has to defend themselves. Well, I'm just going to tell you how to do it. First of all, you have to act with speed. So You can't sit there and let things hit you and hit you and hit you and hit you. You got to act faster than that. The second thing is you got to be really creative. So one of the things I was looking at, and one of the things I thought of, and kind of how to transfer this thing back, is say there's this guy that he's been drinking wine, and he probably drinks too much wine, and he got called out because hey, look, you're a wino, you've been drinking too much. The response to that needs to be quick, and the response needs to be, you know what? Maybe you're wrong. Maybe I just came and I arrived light on the bottle, right? So all you're doing is being a creative response, and you're reacting to it quick, but you're at a point where you're turning something into a creative non-issue. Because in our business and what we do on a gambling site and what we're doing in wagering on things, we need to be creative. We need to have original ideas, and we need to originate programs and processes, and we need to have great concepts and thoughts and ideas. And if we're not thinking properly and we're getting caught up in cancel culture, that's exactly what happens to us. We are being put into a spot where we're being distracted and pulled away from too many things that are important to what we're doing. So you have to focus. And remember, our job is to be quick. You got to get the best number. You got to get the best timing, because what we're doing is we're in competition with two things. We're in competition with the sports book, but don't ever forget, you're also in competition with the general public. When the public is betting, they're moving the numbers just as much as wise guys move numbers. You're betting against everyone that you have. So you have to be quick, agile, responsive, and be ready to go. And if you're caught up in all this nonsense, you're going to miss it. So what my advice to you is understand what cancel culture is. Find a way and a solution if you get attacked to get away from it. But also don't follow these people. These people who are cancel culture people, the pile-on people, are not who are going to help you win. You need to find people who are originating their own thoughts, who are being creative in with the ideas and suggestions and processes and procedures that they make, and you'll do much, much better in your own life.
Amen, amen, amen. And there's the second basket that is being passed. Amen, amen, amen. Tonight, new start of a new week, a last day of February. Tomorrow is March 1st. Myself and Scotty will be back in the morning. We'll be starting the show, the Breakfast Bankroll, with what happened and transpired over the night in MLB. We'll have a better idea what took place in the last handful of hours, whether there is baseball, whether it's not baseball, and what we'll be doing moving forward. I will tell you this, myself and Scott will both be here, rain or shine. No spring training, no MLB. There's still plenty of fish to fry, as we would like to say. So we thank you all, our loyal listeners, Mr. Billy Cullen, Mr. Lucky, Mr. Marty Lowe, just to name a few, our Twitch and YouTube followers as well. Thank you for all the love and support. Thank you for all the retweets, the contents, the pictures. We offer a lot more than the majority of the people in these lanes, and damn proud of it, as we are in our 7th year of public service, and we plan to be here a lot longer than maybe another 7 more years. Well, I'm 55 now, so 7 years gets me to 62. We'll see about that. But always remember this. If you are wagering or investing tonight, always, always, always wager and invest responsibly. If you have a problem, pick up the phone. There's an 800 number available. Ask for help. Why? Myself and Scott care. We want to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from my co-host and partner, Scotty Webb at Webby20 MLB, we wish everyone a blessed evening. Good luck with your wagers, and we will see you bright and early tomorrow morning.